Sickle Cell Sundays. I am your host, Kayla Faith, author of Journey of Faith, and I am so super happy to have Miss Cortney on with us. She is a sickle cell, well, excuse me, a sickle cell warrior survivor. She has gone through gene therapy, correct?
Yes,
Gone through the gene therapy and has now literally survived sickle cell. Like she done with this journey. Thank you for being on here. How are you?
absolutely. Thank you for having me. And I'm good. Like, today is just a really good day. And I'm just excited to share with you guys how my journey has been so far.
Yes, we can't wait to hear. What so I kind of want like kind of a backstory
Mhm.
where you did have sickle cell. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed at 4 months old
Mm.
um, of sickle cell disease SS. I had hand and foot syndrome. My hands would swell, my feet would swell. I would have a high pitched cry no matter what my mom did to feed me, change me. And it got to a point where a doctor was like, hey, I want to test your daughter for something. And they tested me for sickle cell disease, and I tested positive for SS. And then they tested my brother, and he also tested positive for SS. So we both had SS, and the journey was rough. It was more times in a hospital room. The hospital became my second home. There was a lot of pain, a lot
Yeah.
of not being able to go to school when I needed to. And I was just realizing that I didn't want to continue this journey. And then my brother died at the end of 2019. And that just like spiraled me into depression and lots of anxiety and grief. So yeah, it's been a hard 31 years with this disease.
Yes. I can only imagine. And my condolences goes out to you and your family for the loss of your brother. And it was due to like sickle cell cause.
Yes, so he was explaining to the doctors that he couldn't breathe. And the doctors, instead of listening to him, he got into emergency room. They saw the dosage of medication he was on, automatically assumed that he was a drug seeker,
Yeah.
even though he just had got out of a coma, I think a couple months ago. He was very sick. And he went back and they called security on him because he was like they were going to discharge him. He was like, you're not going to discharge me, like something is wrong with me, I'm telling you I can't breathe. And they called him aggressive, him being 27-year-old male.
Mhm.
And he went to another hospital, they didn't catch it. We ended up getting treatment. That Friday he had got out, and then after that he went back into the hospital. This time the paramedics took him right away. Same symptoms, he couldn't breathe. Within, I want to say 48 hours of that hospitalization, he had died.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, it was very quick. It happened so fast that I can hardly even remember it. And the doctors kind of just told me like they thought that maybe it was something that came on quickly, like a pulmonary embolism or an aneurysm. And we did the autopsy, and turned out he had acute chest syndrome. So it was not something that came on quickly,
It did
and
not.
he had been advocating for his life. So I think that sort of just it was hard knowing that like he could have been saved had somebody
Yeah.
really take the time out to hear him and just listen to him and what he was saying, because he knew his body.
Yes. With just hearing that story, like how do you feel about the healthcare system with when it came to your sickle cell? Do you feel like like the doctors, your hematologist actually listens to you? Or
I
listens,
think
excuse me.
I think in pediatrics, I think that there's a lot of like care,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of care when you're a kid, when you're
Hmm.
when you're small and cute. I feel like sickle cell is easily digestible. As soon as someone gets older in that transition, it's almost like you become that's just a child in pain to okay, they've been dealing with this for 18 years, they need to suck it up. They're a
Yeah.
grown adult. whoop de doo, you're a drug seeker. It really, it goes there, and it goes so quickly that it's like mind blowing to me.
Mhm.
However, I do feel like there's been times where I've had physicians that have been amazing and have listened, and then there's been the opposite spectrum. So to answer that, I think that I have experienced both, and then I've been a nurse, so I've been on the other side of it, and I've seen the way physicians and nurses can talk about sickle cell disease patients. And so knowing everything that I knew, I think that was a lot of also what really pushed me to get the transplant, because it's just not okay to label someone.
Yeah. With you being a nurse, travel nurse, correct?
Yes.
Did have you like kind of seen there's not a lot of education on sickle cell, like going through schooling and stuff like that for nursing? Did you ever realize like, maybe we need to really get in depth on sickle cell, just actually talking about it and stuff like that, and people actually learning about sickle cell?
Yes, absolutely. When I first got in nursing school and I seen this small paragraph in the pediatric section, right? And that was it. And it's like, well, pediatrics, first of all, why is it just one little section? Second of all, these pediatric kids develop into adults,
Yeah.
and with the same chronic condition, and then it becomes worse, right?
Hmm.
And so to see that lack of education really makes you understand why nurses and doctors have such a low understanding of sickle cell disease.
Yes, I 100% agree with you on that. I feel like it, first of all, the small paragraph is insane for me. Like, I feel like it should be a whole nother book because, like, of course, with you, oh no, well, excuse me, you had SS and I do have SS, but we might have two different situations with our own SS. Like, it's sickle cell, there's different, I don't want to call them issues, but there's different challenges within each person. So I feel like it should really be talked about and really be actually discovered all the way through on each sickle cell case what basically what literally talk about a pain crisis, because not all pain crises feel the same for each person. Not all treatments are the same each person. Like, when I tell you, every time I go into the hospital, they're like, why aren't you on hydroxyurea?
Hydroxyurea.
And I said, I don't take hydroxyurea. Why aren't you taking that? That's the medicine you're supposed to take, and it's not on your list. Don't know. Y'all haven't told me why I'm not taking hydroxyurea, but you have me on blood transfusions every month. So I feel like that's something that should be um, honestly advocated for ourselves. You, doctors, nurses, the whole, have more information on sickle cell, period. So because I'm pretty sure, and if you think of any others diseases, I bet they have probably got a book on it. But I think a lot of it is, who does sickle cell mostly affect? Honestly,
African American.
no, it needs to be really thoroughly talked about and really understood. Okay, so now that we got through the whole sickle cell journey, you want to tell us about non-sickle cell journey? We would love to hear. How was the whole transplant? How was the whole transplant, the whole thing for you, like from beginning to end?
It was it was it was exciting, it was scary. It made you grateful for small things.
Mhm.
It opened up your mind in a way, like you were, I mean, when I first started and somebody's telling you like, I'm going to cure you, you're like, sure. I've heard it before because I was supposed to be in several different trials, and they just didn't come into fruition. So when someone's telling you they're going to cure you, like in the back of your mind, you're excited, but now you're scared and nervous. And then On top of this, this was a different cure because I was curing myself with my own stem cells. So that was like, how is that even going to happen? What does this look like? And then there you are, and you're literally getting your stem cell collection, and they're taking it to a lab, and you come back in like I think 2 months they had my cells ready. And yes, and I was like, I think y'all need some more time.
Y'all
I
didn't do
don't
this
know if it's
right.
ready yet. Yeah, this might not be it. And then you're in the hospital, and day one, you immediately start chemotherapy. And after the line placement, and at first, like, you're like, okay, is this going to be as bad? Like, I don't know yet. How's the chemo going to hit me? And because everybody's like, you're taking the chemo well. I threw up everywhere on like day 2 or 3, like everything inside of my stomach, and then you go through body dysmorphia with the change in your skin and all those
Mhm.
different things. So it was 42 days in the hospital, and there was no going outside. And it's like, so there is a lot of risk to it, right? Because they don't want you to get an
Yeah,
infection, but the mental risk, I don't think that I don't know if they are tackling that the way I feel like they should, because
right.
sickle cell disease is already so mentally draining.
Yeah,
But then that isolation and the body dysmorphia and not knowing if you're going to live or die, it was a lot. But I can tell you that the nurses were great. My doctor was great. They listened to me. And when I got out, at the end of it, I realized like, now the work begins, right? Because I think we think that you get out the hospital and it's just like you're. I think that's the mindset I had, but you do have to allow those stem cells to attach, and so it was just a small journey. But every day I was like, I can do this now. I can do that. I was in the middle of the cold. It was a winter storm, and I didn't have any crisis, and it made no sense. Like there was snow outside, and everybody was worried. All my family, my dad was outside the room looking, and you know what I mean. Everybody was there, and they were like, "What's gonna happen? Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "I want to go out in the snow," and they're like, "Go out in the snow? But what are you talking about?" But it was it's a journey that I feel like only people who went through it right will understand. But at the same time, it's one of those journeys where every single day you got to think about something positive. It just the smallest thing.
yeah. So the time in the hospital, you only spent, you said 2 days? Or was it like a
42 days.
42 days? Oh, I thought I was, mm, okay. That's a long time in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, so how did you even get through that piece? Let alone just, 'cause I know, honestly, just being isolated and being in them four walls. How did you even deal with that?
You know what? And this is where I have to be honest with you. My journey looked a lot different than other adults who did the journey because I was at a children's hospital. And so at a children's hospital, they make it fun. I
Yeah,
was in Charleston, South Carolina, and outside the windows, like you can just see the water and the boat. So there was some feeling of being outside, right? And
yeah.
then every day somebody's coming in and they're like, "Hey, you want to make a puzzle? You want you want to see a dog? You
I was just about to say,
you
it's
want a
gonna be some
Christmas
clowns or a
tree?
dog coming.
Yes, you want a Christmas tree?" And then they'd be like, "Do you want money?" I'm like, "Money? Give me the yes. I'm in the hospital. I can't work." So it's like it was every day, and then you got to see the little kids on the unit. You couldn't really talk to them, right? Because like all their immune systems, But it was amazing to have that, and then my family were just, I mean, they were very aware of what I needed. Right, like my brother flew down and was like, "I'll shave your hair. Don't worry about it," because I was crying about my hair. Like, so I think it was the support system, and it was my faith.
Yeah,
I really just had to tell myself I was gonna make it out alive. That's all I kept saying. I was like, I'm not dying in this hospital. So It's just not gonna happen. And so, but yeah, my faith in just every single day, like somebody will come in and they'd be like, "You look beautiful," and I'd be like, "I got two strands of hair, two, two. My skin is messed up. My skin coming off on the sheets. I'm throwing up everything. I can't even hold down a cracker." I was like, "I do not look beautiful. I have an NG tube in my nose. I don't look beautiful," but that's just how they were, and I'm praying that people's experience in adult care is similar.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about the doing the gene therapy. I think my
Hmm.
whole thing is I'm scared. I don't like to be alone for even a week. So let alone 42 days. You are a warrior having to do that. Oh my goodness. So so this might be like a really awkward question. Was it painful? Like what they would in during that experience? Did anything like seem like just I don't know? Because they're using your own stem cells. So I'm like, did it hurt at any point?
uh I think the most painful part was it was the beginning. So like the in the beginning, the chemotherapy portion of it, I feel like triggered my sickle cell right before they could get me all the way down to zero and transplant me with the cells. Now I have chemo on top of sickle cell. So
Yeah,
that was extremely painful and triggered a lot of like crisis, right?
yeah,
And then afterwards, I think it was the body fatigue of like chemo and trying to rebuild like your stamina and your everything, like because I couldn't eat. The mouth sores are painful, so they put an NG tube in because I couldn't. It was just like it was hard. You couldn't taste anything. It was, I think it was painful. The mouth sores, the seeing your skin too, like the mental aspect of it,
mhm,
those things were hard. But when they actually gave you the cells, it was like 30 minutes, if even that. They came in, they took all of my blood, came back with this small bag of cells that was like clear. And I'm like, this is not gonna work. I'm like, I don't, this is not good. And then they were like, tell me what you smell, because people smell different things. And they transfused it into me, and it smelled like cream corn. And I was like, I could have got this on the shelf. I said, listen, y'all need to get y'all money back. We talk about $3 million worth of cream corn. I said, y'all not doing it right. And I said, this ain't gonna work. And I said, you know what? I don't know why I'm here. Go on, take this for some cream corn. Everybody was laughing, but it really smelled. It smells different for everybody, but I swear
mhm,
it smelled like cream corn. After that, it it I don't think the afterwards. I think there was fatigue, and
mhm,
then of course getting off of the pain medication. But I had such a great team that listened to me that I
mhm.
was off narcotics within 2 months, which like is not always the easiest because I was on
Yeah,
high dose narcotics. I was in so much pain. But yeah, so I think that the actual transplant, no, not painful at all. But chemo mixed with the sickle cell and
yeah.
then the body fatigue, it's a lot.
Now that you're done with sickle cell, praise God for that. You done made it
Mhm.
through. How is it now going through life without sickle cell?
Um, you get like so, you just get so like, you start thinking of like all of these things like that you couldn't do before, all the things that you want to do now that you don't have sickle cell chaining you down and holding you back. And if you're not careful, you will absolutely crash, because even though your mind is free, your body is still recovering from however many years you had sickle cell. Whatever damage sickle cell has done, that's not reversible.
Yeah.
And then, you still, like, your body's going to be weak from the chemo. And so I think that it was amazing at first, but I definitely think the menopausal symptoms afterwards too, um you have to be mindful of your mental health and making sure that you're taking things for menopause, because estrogen, we need it for our bones. So it's those different things. But I can tell you, like, the further you are away, I can say, like, over a year looks completely different than a couple months. And it's amazing. It really is. But in the beginning, I definitely was like, I'm not really sure why I did this or put my family through this, because I had no idea if it was going to work, and my body was just so weak, and I all I wanted to do was do all the things I said I was going to do before, and so,
Yeah.
like, and now you having to slow poke it, and you're like, I want to get off the couch. Like, I think I went to the gym the first day that I got into the hotel, because, like, I was in a hotel because I had flew states to do the transplant.
Hmm.
And I was literally on the treadmill. I couldn't do but like a couple, maybe 15 minutes or something, but that, to me, I was like, I thought I was doing it.
That's
But it's
still
just like, it's those
accomplishment.
type of things. Yeah, it's those type of things, and you just start to, you just appreciate things. Like, it's so weird. Like, I feel, man, a shower. I don't know how to explain it, but like a shower that's not in a hospital, you appreciate. Or when you first can taste food again, baby, your back gonna be so big. It's gonna be big, because now you can taste that food again. You
I'm
might
hungry
just have to
now.
listen, just go ahead and sign your papers for my 600-pound life, because you might be there. You might be there. Yeah.
I believe it though, especially going so long without going so long not being able to taste food and then having to do an angio tube, and now I could be like, oh yeah, I want me a steak, some crab
Hmm.
legs, some give me all the mashed potatoes with all the butter, like
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I am so happy for you. This is honestly one of the best interviews ever. Like now that I got information on um the gene therapy, because like I said, I've people in my family, not so much the healthcare system, but my family, like, you need to go ahead and jump onto this gene therapy. And I'm like,
Mhm.
mm. It's like your sickle cell is horrible. You just need to do it. I don't know. Like that's and I think that's just the scary part of me because I'm like, I isolation is not my thing. I mm-mm.
Mhm.
And then because and I think a big part is I'm already in the adult care. So I'm really terrified of how the adult care will be treating their patients going through gene therapy rather than pediatrics.
Correct.
So I think that's where the biggest setback is for me is thinking adult care is not all the way it. You have the doctors, the healthcare system that don't listen to their patients already be, ready to call their patients drug addicts and just saying, oh, she's just popping pills. No, I'm in pain. I don't want you think I want this medicine. You think I want to feel this pain? No. So I think that's really where my mindset is. But you have given me such a good clarification and good thought about what the gene therapy could actually look like for me. But I know it's different for each person though. So
Right.
what would you well first, what because I always tell people this. I feel like sickle cell gave gave their person a superpower. Like if you have sickle cell, you don't
Mhm.
gained a superpower. What do you feel like your superpower is, or can't got? What did
I
you? Yeah.
Empathy, 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 empathy. Um, And especially like as a nurse, like everybody's like, well, you're so caring. And I'm like, and that's sad for someone to say, right? Because as nurses, we should all be caring.
Yes.
But I really do feel like my empathy and being able to um, see myself in patients and in people and what they're going through. Because I mean, we've all been misjudged, but I think it's a little bit different with sickle cell because you're misjudged at a time where you're at your most vulnerable and where
Mm-hmm.
you need the most help
Yeah.
and where it can go from life and death very quickly. So it is absolutely important to understand people, listen to people, because I mean, we know our bodies. We're the only ones feeling this pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the patient's pain is what they tell you it is, even if they don't look like it. Because, I mean, if you're in chronic pain, you're not going to be, screaming all the time because you're living with it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's very true. And what do you feel like? What would you tell the next patient that's about to join going into gene therapy? What encouraging words would you give them?
Oh, start now. Start today. Um, I truly believe that if I were to do it all over again, I would have started a lot of things from the start, especially concerning like mental health.
Yeah.
I feel like you need a counselor before you start. Um, it's sort of like savings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need a 50, 401k, and you need to put that money in it now, right? If you wanted to retire tomorrow, what are you going to do if you just started yesterday? You're not going to have enough in the bank to save.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that with mental health, you definitely need to have someone that you can talk to, safe space. And I also think that you need to prepare your body for it now because you are going to lose a lot of nutrients, a lot of minerals, everything that you need. And so you really want to make sure that you are eating healthy now and exercising to the amount that you can, right? Don't over push your body.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to make sure you're doing these things now because I promise you, during the transplant, after the transplant, you're not gonna want to do it. It's just, I mean, it's just the reality. Chemo is
Yeah.
gonna hit you like a ton of bricks, and you could talk a good game, but you have to start now. If there's something that you want, I would say definitely do those things now and then look into insurances to help you so that you don't have to worry about financial things while you're in the hospital. I had critical illness and they pay you like a one-time payment for any type of transplant. Make sure you obviously like read through your, paperwork, but they do pay you a one-time amount, and then hospital indemnity, if you have it, pays you every day. And it's just a nice weight off of your head because it's not like we're kids. You know what I mean? When we were kids, we was
Yeah.
playing the Wii and we ain't know nothing about bills. Our family's still here
Exactly.
figuring out how we gonna do it, and we just dancing to Michael Jackson, okay? But when you an adult, you have bills, you have things going on. So,
Yeah.
um, look into the financial aspect of it. Talk to people who's been through it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, get your information and just prepare.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I really appreciate you being on Sickle Cell Sundays and
Yeah.
giving us the information. Because when I say we finna clock that tea and get all the information, you have been a true blessing. Just joining the Sickle Cell Sundays. I'm gonna, of course, post this onto YouTube so people can see this. Like, I really my um goal is for people to really get education on different sickle cell patients, not just one or two, because you're gonna think, oh, they just the same, they just got SS together, they hurt the same time when it's cold or when it's hot. No, I want people to actually learn stories and understand the stories of sickle cell patients. So thank you for being a part of this journey.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem, it has been an honor. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.